When I used drugs, I gave up everything. The community that I was in, we never even thought about Hep C. It's an acquired disease.
Hepatitis C, or Hep C infections, are on the rise in the United States. In fact, the CDC estimates over 2.4 million people in the US are currently living with Hep C.
When I was first told that I had Hep C, I was very fearful due to lack of education. I remember being ashamed and felt like I could put other people at risk. No one had said, this is what hepatitis C is. This is what you should watch for. Nobody talked about that stuff.
I think it's come a long way, but I think we still have a long ways to go regarding education on how to prevent being exposed.
Many people don't show any symptoms and don't know that they're even infected. Left untreated, Hep C can lead to liver damage, liver cancer, and even death. Cases in the US more than doubled from 2012 to 2019 due to injection drug use. But today, Hep C can be cured without injections or the harsh side effects of previous medications. So we're going to meet 3 people who are going to help us understand why it's crucial to get educated about Hep C.
We are at Wilkes Recovery Revolution, located here in Wilkes County, North Carolina. So I'm going to take you to my office first. I really didn't think that I could become addicted to anything, but I ended up with an ankle injury from the ski slope and had about 5 surgeries where each one I was prescribed opioid medications. I didn't realize until it was time to come off the medication after the surgeries that I had become dependent on it and that my body did not like not having the medication. I had started dabbling in other substances because I was not able to find my drug of choice. And so that caused a quick downward spiral. I ended up in the hospital due to an overdose. At this point, I was homeless. I had lost my children, so I kind of lost all hope. I thought when they got taken away that was pretty much the end, and I really didn't see much way of recovering. And I didn't find out until I was in that 30-day inpatient center that I had acquired Hep C. Since being treated for Hep C, I've not had to deal with symptoms. My life is probably very similar to yours or someone else's. I get to carry on as any other healthy adult would. This is our Overdose Awareness Day wall. Everybody is someone's daughter, someone's friend, and it puts faces to names and makes it, unfortunately, more real and where people can understand that we have to get into solutions and we can't continue to not do anything about this.
The Hep C virus is usually spread through blood-to-blood contact, with most people becoming infected by sharing needles or other drug equipment used to prepare or inject drugs. We're here in Philly, and we know what Hep C looks like, but what does it look like to address it within communities? So we're meeting Nicole, who's part of a group that's doing the work on the ground. What is Operation In My Backyard?
We are a harm reduction organization here in Philly, so we provide street-based outreach. Our services include food. We give out harm reduction safe consumption kits, which include kits to prevent the transmission of diseases like Hep C.
Every single kit has specific items put in there, not just for a functional matter for people to be able to consume their substances, but to significantly decrease, the spread of preventable diseases.
What is harm reduction?
Harm reduction, it doesn't necessarily apply only to drug use. Harm reduction is a set of ideas that focus on reducing the harm of any kind of behavior that could be considered risky. So it would be something like putting your seatbelt on when you're driving a car, so you're protecting yourself. Syringe exchanges, overdose reversal medication, it's the same idea.
I have friends who I've lost to opioids. I lost my sister in 2016. Can you tell me about your connection to opioids, substances?
When I was a teenager, I was an IV illicit substance user, and I stopped when I was 22 years old. So it was a struggle, it was a very dark time in my life. I don't regret that it happened because I kind of feel like it shaped who I am and how I see things.
There is sort of a type of language that we should be using when we talk about harm reduction and the people who we're serving. How do you feel about that?
Person-first language is really important. The people that we are serving have been completely discriminated against, stigmatized, and oftentimes they themselves will see themselves as their disease or disorder or their behavior. Say like person who uses drugs, like putting the person first before any diagnosis or behavior. I think that's a good way to start humanizing the people that we're serving.
My name is McKinley, also known as Kenny. I'm from the east side of this city called Baltimore, Maryland.
Can you tell me about growing up here and your history with substances?
I come from a good family, had everything that I needed and wanted, right, Lived in an impoverished neighborhood, but I didn't know I was impoverished. I did all type of things. When you get addicted to drugs, right, drugs become the most important thing to you. They told me I had an addiction problem, but they sent me to this detox unit, took the hepatitis C test. It came back positive. Being an addict, there's a lot of stigma involved in it. I no longer have hepatitis C, but I know people who do. And it's still kind of like a taboo in the community. But what I tell them is this right here, right? Love yourself anyway. At this point, man, Hep C, it's really treatable. It's not a deadly threat anymore.
Hep C can be treated at any time, regardless of where you are on your recovery journey. So anytime they can seek out that access to care. Treatment used to be a very rigorous process of having to get injections of medication that actually had very harsh side effects. When I entered into treatment, I was able to do a once-a-day pill medication. I feel like everybody deserves to know people care about them. When someone comes in and says your overdose kit saved my daughter, that's pretty impactful. I feel that in my gut.
For those who are diagnosed with Hep C, is there anything you'd like for them to know?
That there's a cure, that there's opportunities for medical care, that it's not a death sentence, that it's not something to be ashamed of, it's not anything that there isn't help for. And there's clinics that offer free testing and treatment.